Hi, my name is Jenny LaFleur, and this video describes a research paper of mine that looks at the geographic location of charter schools in the city of Chicago. I undertook this project because other researchers have found evidence that charter schools seem to avoid locating in highest need areas of other cities and municipalities and states around the country. And because Chicago has a large and expanding charter school sector, I wanted to see if these findings actually extended to Chicago as well. This video is going to talk about the two reasons that I think this is a really important question to ask, and then it's going to go into the results that I found when I looked at actual data from the city of Chicago. So the first reason I think it's important to ask where charter schools are located is that the Illinois Charter School Law actually states that charter schools should prioritize serving high needs, at-risk, quote-unquote, pupils. It also states that charter authorizers should give favor to those charter school proposals that say they're going to serve large proportions of high-need students. Proponents of the charter school law initially argued and continue to argue that charters will improve outcomes for low-income, high-need students. The second reason I think it's important to look at where Chicago's charter schools are located is from what we know about parental behavior in other school choice contexts. We know that in intra-district choice, voucher programs, and other school choice contexts, that parents are somewhat unlikely to select a school that's further from home. Distance from home creates both economic and social costs for families that may together be a disincentive for them to enroll their student in a school that's further from home as compared with their neighborhood public school. So with my project, I used the U.S. Census American Community Survey to understand the socioeconomic health of census tracts in which charter schools tend to open in Chicago. And when I compared census tracts with and without charter schools in the city of Chicago, I found that generally speaking, census tracts with charters were higher needs. So they had higher proportions of residents who were school age, between the ages of 5 and 20. They had higher proportions of adults with less than a high school degree, higher poverty rates for families with children under 18, higher unemployment rates, and higher proportions of renter households. But my project was specifically concerned with whether or not there was perhaps a ceiling effect that appeared to limit the number of charter schools in Chicago's highest need census tracts. So to answer this, I summed and then normalized these 5 indicators to create an index of socioeconomic need. After that, I categorized each of Chicago's more than 800 census tracts based on the number of standard deviation units its index score was from the city mean. When counts of charter schools are graphed based on their census tract's level of socioeconomic need, we see a fairly normal curve. The majority of charters in Chicago are located in census tracts that are basically average in terms of their socioeconomic need. We don't see very many charter schools in those highest needs census tracts. One way to think about this is to actually look at maps. Well, this one's a whole city of Chicago. It's a little bit too much to handle at once, but you can see here that the yellow flags are going to represent charter schools, and then the census tracts within the city are shaded based on their level of socioeconomic need. The darkest blue tracts are highest need, and those that are lightest blue are lowest needs. Let's go ahead and zoom in so we can look at examples in a little bit smaller scale. So this is a roughly 6 square mile area of the city just to the south and west of downtown. It incorporates parts of Back of the Yards, Bridgeport, Gage Park, Archer Heights, McKinley Park, and a little bit of Englewood. We see here that there are darker shaded census tracts representing higher socioeconomic need, right? But the charter schools seem to be located in those that are more medium blue and lighter blue. The charter schools are nearby, but not inside these census tracts that are of highest need. Another example of this coming to life is in this map that encompasses South Austin, West Garfield Park, and West Humboldt Park. Again, we see these higher need census tracts, but the charter schools are not located in them. They're located in the more medium blue, more average needs tracts, relatively speaking. We should give credit to the little one at the bottom that's right on the border. Another way to think about this is, where is the nearest charter school if you are a resident of one of the 60 highest need census tracts in the city of Chicago? So overwhelmingly, for the people who live in the highest need census tracts, the closest charter school is in the nearby lower needs census tract. And I think this is important to point out. If we think about both the hortatory language that tells us that charters should serve high need students And also the research on school choice behavior among parents, showing that parents are less likely to send a student to a school that's further from home. I think that future research should actually spatially track the flow of students between home and school to see if geography matters and if it seems to impact student enrollment. Also, I think it would be interesting to gather data from charter schools and educational management organization leaders to see how it is that they make decisions about where charter schools locate and why they make those decisions. With this added information, I think that future adjustments to charter school policy could do more to ensure that geography is not limiting real-time access to charter schools for our highest need students, the very kids who charter schools should be serving.